Let's get this point out of the way. I love the first two Paper Mario games and consider the battle systems to be one of the best battle systems ever created for both new players and experienced ones. With that in mind, it's no secret to anybody that Paper Mario has changed over the years, and many changes have left fans upset. So why do I mention this? Well, because I think it's important to get my opinion of the first two games out of the way so I can criticize Origami King without trying to compare everything to the first two. However, there will be times where I compare them to the previous entries, Sticker Star and Color Splash, as most of Origami King's mechanics are kind of inspired by those two games. So right away, I want to talk about the game and its presentation, how it looks and feels. Something Color Splash did, which I haven't heard much of, was how it looked. The game looked beautiful, and I'm glad to see that Origami King retains the look Color Splash introduced. Mario controls fine, I find he's a bit slow during certain areas, but it wasn't near anywhere bad. Alongside that is the music, which nails each area's theme as a highlight when visiting certain areas. The writing is similar to Color Splash, and if you know anything about my opinions on Color Splash, you'll know I consider that game to be incredibly carried by its writing. So for what I've said so far, Origami King seems to have done a good job with its presentation. So how about how it plays? So here's the biggest part of Paper Mario nowadays, which mainly separates people's opinions over their games. The battle system, or rather the lack of experience earned from winning said battle system. In the original two games, defeating enemies would reward you with experience like a typical RPG, where you could choose what stat to increase, and in Super Paper Mario, earning enough points would basically just force you to either get health or power-up points to increase your stats. However, Sticker Star would create a reward system where you weren't rewarded with experience because the game lacked any to begin with. Color Splash had something of the sort with paint hammers, but it acted more like an increase to a mana bar. And Origami King continued with Sticker Star's reward system and only offered coins and confetti. This is important to know because the main criticism Origami King has, as well as the last two games, are that with no experience points won from fights, it means you can't increase any stats, meaning battles become pointless. Now obviously, while I would like experience to return, I don't think you exactly need experience to make a battle system work. Look at a game like Undertale, where the best parts about the game are literally avoiding the enemies so you don't get experience. It's not like this system can't work, it can. The problem is, I don't find it to work, and that goes for the last two games as well. So since you don't get experience for winning battles, what do you get instead? Confetti and coins. Confetti is used to patch up holes in the overworld, sometimes being needed to make progress throughout the game. Coins are used to buy items, weapons, and accessories to help Mario out in combat. Now to complement Origami King, coins are handled way better than the previous games because the accessories can cost quite a bit of coins, and they do provide some sort of stat increase, such as a defense up or an increase in health. However, the main issue comes from the fact that the confetti and coins, the rewards for winning battles, are also available in the overworld, and they're not in short supply either. Tons of the hittable objects in the overworld provide Mario with confetti, and sometimes finding secrets will reward you a ton of coins, including patching said holes with confetti. One of the biggest issues of this game is, even if you were to disregard the first three games and how the reward system worked, Origami King's rewards are handled terribly. Since all the resources I ever need were in the overworld, battles would soon become boring, then annoying, then tedious. And you want to know the worst part about this? There is a section of the game that does this properly. The desert world. Now, I'm not usually a fan of desert levels in games, and the footage shown in trailers of said desert world wasn't really appealing to me. So, this should tell you that I must really like this world if I can praise it, and it rightfully deserves all the praise I've been giving it. You're in a desert. There's not a lot of objects to hit in said desert, so you won't get much confetti, and you will start to run out. This was also when I was starting to need to get more coins because items and accessories would start to become more expensive. Now, I could go into town to get confetti, and my new partner, Professor Toad, could dig up certain spots to get me some coins, but that would be tedious and time consuming to where battles would be faster and simpler. My biggest question is this: why wasn't every world like this? It gave me a reason to battle. it gave me something that couldn't be easily solved in the overworld, and it was the only world to do this in the game. After the desert world, the game would continue to provide plenty of coins and confetti to give away, once again becoming a game with reward issues. If the game acted like the desert world the whole game, then yes, I probably would have enjoyed Origami King way more. And I've recently streamed the game, and if you watched it, you know how often I would say crap, damn it, or anything that insulting because I wouldn't want to get into a battle. They'd become tedious for me. And in the desert, I didn't actually mind this. I didn't complain because I was getting a reward I was limited by in the overworld. They managed to create a system I enjoyed in the game and did a one and done deal with it. I'm extremely disappointed that the whole game wasn't like the desert world, and I really wished it was. And how about the battles themselves? Are they at least fun to solve? Well, here's the thing. These battles act more like puzzles than RPG battles. Don't get me wrong though, they still have RPG elements that make me wonder why this game isn't considered an RPG, but the puzzle battles are still fun. Now, I don't find myself very good at Origami King's battle puzzles. Basically, you move a puzzle different ways in a limited amount of turns. You get a damage bonus if you manage to properly line everyone up in a certain way. Otherwise, you won't get a damage bonus and you most likely have to take some damage. Now, I don't know if it's always possible to line every enemy up or not, but some battles in the later part of the game felt impossible to line up every enemy. Since I'm not very good at these type of puzzles, I'm going to say this was more of a me problem than the game. In fact, even though I wasn't the greatest at this battle system, I'll say it's better than what Sticker Star and Color Splash offered. And you know what? I really do need to talk about a major highlight of the game, the boss fights. They're one of the best things about this game. Unlike the regular fights, the boss fights act differently. Instead of Mario moving the board to line enemies up, you instead make a pathway for Mario to do certain actions. This was the best part of the game combat-wise. It's a unique battle system that was entertaining and kept me engaged. Also, since this battle system was made for bosses only, it was refreshing to not get into a battle that I would have to constantly get into all the time. The learning curve could have been handled better, but I soon got the hang of it, and the game is generous in the first few battles so you can get the hang of it as well. I always looked forward to these fights, and that's always a good thing to have in your game. An enjoyable boss fight, which is supposed to be a major highlight for the game. So what would my final opinion of the game be? I would summarize my review in a single sentence. Origami King does the best parts of Color Splash worse, but the battles are actually interesting. Yeah, I think that describes it perfectly. To me, many things Color Splash has done was done similarly in Origami King, but done worse. I find Origami King's partner, Olivia, to be very similar to Color Splash's Huey, with Huey being the better character. I find Color Splash's music to be better, I find Color Splash's writing to be handled better, and I feel like they even did the whole filling certain spots better. Color Splash wins that. And not to say that Origami King's way was terrible, but compared to Color Splash, I feel like they took a few steps back. And my biggest issue is the fact that Color Splash still has problems, and Origami King's fixes aren't basically gonna make me consider it the better game. AKA, I think Color Splash is better, even with Origami King having a better battle system. Would I recommend Origami King? I mean, maybe during a sale, I could, but $60? I really wish this game had a demo available, because I feel like a majority of people could get their opinions literally just by playing a few minutes of Origami King. Essentially, at $60, I don't feel like I can recommend it. Perhaps it's because I don't have the greatest memory, and the type of puzzles Origami King has in battles aren't my cup of tea, so maybe that's why I can't recommend it at $60, but my final opinion of it is to just wait for a sale. And I'll leave off with one final message. Look, guys, I'm not asking for a battle system like Thousand Year Door. I'm asking for a reward system that works. You made 3 games I consider to have failed when rewarding the player. I'm not asking for a game like Thousand Year Door. I'm asking for a game with a battle and reward system that works. Please, thank you.